नमस्कार दोस्तों और जय हिंद। आप सभी को स्वागत है इन माय चैनल 1971 वॉर बुक सीरीज। तो दोस्तों, बांग्लादेश लिबरेशन वॉर का एक बहुत ही अनोखा इतिहास रचा था द फर्स्ट मराठा लाइट इन्फेंट्री। द फर्स्ट मराठा लाइट इन्फेंट्री ऑफ द इंडियन आर्मी was a part of the 95 Mountain Brigade in the 101 Communication Zone, which was actually operating from the state of Meghalaya. 101 Communication Zone का 95 Mountain Brigade had its headquarters at Tura, and the 1st Maratha Light Infantry was the main fighting force of this infantry brigade. Now, 1st Maratha Light Infantry, with the entire brigade of course, had moved, I guess, about 200 miles from the Meghalayan border all the way up to Dhaka. From the 3rd of December to the 16th of December, 13 दिन में 200 किलोमीटर फाइट करके करके पाकिस्तानी फौज के अगेंस्ट फाइट करके करके उन लोगों ने पहुंचा था। You must have heard about the historical Tangel paradrop, जहां पे 2 para of the Indian Army had paradropped one entire battalion to cut off the retreating Pakistani 93 Infantry Brigade. The 1st Maratha Light Infantry of the 95 Mountain Brigade had linked up with the 2 para. पाकिस्तानी फौज का एक ब्रिगेड का फाइटिंग स्ट्रेंथ खत्म हो गया था at Pungli Bridge. Now, 1st Maratha Light Infantry had also entered Dhaka on the 16th of December morning, I guess maximum by the afternoon itself. तो आज हम उस बटालियन के एक फॉर्मिडेबल योद्धा के साथ बात करने वाले हैं। Everybody knows him as India's one of the major counter-insurgency operators and a very good jungle warfare expert. Everybody knows also he's very well known in handling Naxalite problem as well. And in the Bangladesh Liberation War, he was actually a second lieutenant in the Charlie Company. उनके commanding officer थे Lieutenant Colonel Kuldeep Singh Brar, later Lieutenant General. He is second Lieutenant Basant K. Panwar, later Brigadier Basant K. Panwar, and today he will be talking about his own experiences with his battalion in the Bangladesh Liberation War and a bit about his life after the end of the war. So let's welcome Brigadier Basant K. Panwar to our program today.
Wherever there is a front line, I was there because I was a young man, 22 years old.
Right.
All the time being told what to do. Go and lead the advance. Go there, go there.
Right, sir.
Like a Man Friday.
Man Friday.
Well, after my initial kindergarten and primary schooling in a number of places, because my father was from the army, by the age of 8 or 9, I was in Belgaum and St. Paul's.
Okay.
And in this case, in my case, I told my father, I want to go to a boarding school.
Okay.
At the age of 10 or 9.
People normally don't want to, sir.
I told him, people used to talk that you're the only child, no brothers or sisters. He might get spoiled and things like that, and like people keep talking. So I also used to overhear. I said I will go to my boarding school.
Okay.
And then we decided the boarding school. It came about from Belgaum. There's a place. There's a school in Pune, Bishop School.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite well known. Being in the cantonment, it was being run initially by the British people who were there for their children.
Okay.
The Bishop School and St. Mary's next door, and the church, and the Dinobli College in close by place. So Bishop School was the place, and I went there to Pune with my father and was admitted. And thereafter I started traveling alone in trains, going from school to my parents' place at the age of 10 onwards, alone in a first-class compartment. And I used to deal with the coolies at that time and reach home, and I'm coming. And so you develop confidence in that manner. You develop tremendous confidence.
Yeah, we can't expect this at this time.
So in the 5th standard, my class teacher was Mrs. Francis.
Okay.
And we used to start the day with good morning, Mrs. Francis. And Mrs. Francis used to say, good morning, boys, and sit down, boys. We say, thank you, Mrs. Francis. And very well mannered school, and half the instructors, the teachers were Anglo Indians and British. In fact, my dormitory master, Mr. Tom Swill, he was the ex sergeant major.
Okay.
And in the dormitory, we were about, I think, about 60, 70 boys of various classes in about 12 rooms. So there we found very strict disciplinarian in Sergeant Tom Swill. So we understood what was discipline, and he used to keep giving us information about the stars, the night stars, and the Orion's belt, and the Seven Sisters, and all those, the Great Bear and the Little Bear.
Okay.
So it was one learning. And then second, we started our schooling. It had a very fixed program from morning to evening, evening time games. We used to go to the Pune race course and do our running and keep fit.
Okay.
The whole idea was keeping fit. Then I think it was 14 years old, 1 year before, in 8th standard. The principal took some of our 15, 20 boys for the NDA passing out parade, National Defence Academy, on a winter day. We reached NDA, first time in my life, and saw the whole parade. Oh, there were 14 contingents, and the parade commander was some Academy cadet captain Pandey. And Pandey used to give a word of command, parade, sound, call. And the sound used to travel, and as the sound used to travel, the parade used to keep coming, getting to attention, and as a result, it further echoes. It was a very, very lovely sight and lovely sound. And I was very impressed with the parade. And that's where I said, I am joining National Defence Academy. I am going to NDA, come what may. And off I went. How do you get to NDA? He said, you study for an exam. Where do you get the papers? There's a P.A. Tarachand in back streets of in Pune, in Main Street. And P.A. Tarachand bookstall, I got the papers and started studying. People were so surprised. This fellow is just 13 years old and he's studying for NDA. I said, that is it. The selection and maintenance of aim is clear. As we studied and took some tuition and mathematics, a little higher mathematics. At the age of 15, I appeared in the NDA exam at the MLA Rest House in Bhopal. My parents took me there, and everything I told my parents, take me to NDA, sign here, Daddy, for the application form. Nothing was given to me by my parents. I told the parents what we have to do. Little different. And then the results came. Somebody came to our land in Mau कि साडा मुंडा भी पास हो गया, थोड़ा मुंडा भी पास हो गया. So we were very thrilled, and we went to SSB, Service Selection Board at Jabalpur. That's where all the things started. And my first impression, as we were lined up, the DS introduced the SSB in charge. One of the majors said, "I am so and so, and I am a gunner. I am from the artillery. Anybody knows what is artillery?" And there I was, and I blurted out, "Big guns." He was very thrilled that I'm calling the artillery big guns. And then he said, "Yes, of course. What is your name?" So and so, so and so. And it just started the ball rolling. And then when you do all these things, there's a background of adventure sports and jungle and finding your way and leadership and all these qualities. The so-called services selection board exam, these are the kind of people they're looking for, who will be potential and very good soldiers. So there it was, SSB was cleared, and on 16th of June, 14th, 15th of June, whatever time it was, 1965, I reported to the National Defence Academy. I took a taxi from Pune railway station, and I said, reported to NDA. And I rang up, or I don't know what. I told my father that I reported, it's there. And I was be happy. And next 3.5 years or so, I was in NDA. I was doing great gymnastics. Everyone was very surprised that he used to do gymnastics and passing out parades and high horse and this, that. And I passed out as a very outstanding cadet in outdoors. Little academics was a little weak of mine. I remember once uh, in one of the passing out parades or some function, my company commander asked me, "So, Panwar, how are you doing?" Because I was well known in India for outdoor activity.
Okay.
So, how your tests and all? How did they go? I just said, "I've got a retest, and those who used to fail used to be given a retest. I've got a retest, sir." Oh, so which subjects? So I said physics, chemistry, and maths. He says, what's left? I said, sir, I had the audacity to tell him social studies and history, and English. I passed in that. Physics, chemistry, and maths. By saying it so confidently, anybody will pass me. Estimates of four. Anyway, it was a retest and gone through. You don't have to score outstanding results in the NDA as long as you get the minimum standards. Then I passed out on 21st, it was December 1968 from NDA. And after 10-12 days, we joined Military Academy Dehradun. And in Dehradun, first day, we were already well groomed at 3 years in NDA. So this was just a passing year, the last year. And our appearance and bearing was very high amongst all our course mates. Many of us, a group of people, they become appointments. They become the senior cadet captain and senior under officer and all those things. I became senior under officer of my company, which is Sangro Company, and commanded the local contingent at the passing out parade with my parents viewing. They go, our son is there, he is, and this, that, and opted for my father's battalion, 1st Maratha, and I got it. I stood 7th in the order of merit out of 571 gentlemen cadets. So it was a very high rating. In fact, everyone was expecting I'll get the Sword of Honor at the passing out course. And these are things up and down take place. However, this happened, and our course was specially picked out, the infantry people, 180 of us, by Field Marshal, that you will go for training,
Okay.
basic training immediately after the course. It's the first of its kind. It is called Young Officers Course, YO course.
YO.
YO course, which is now going on, I think 167 or 200 YO courses going on, is basically to give the further sharpening of skill of an infantryman. The man who's going to be in the front line, the man who faces bullets, the man who captures high posts in Kargil sector, the man who leads the advance, and all those things. Guts and courage come easy. So we joined Mao. We came here and we did the tactical course, and we did the weapons course, all about weapon, and then finally we did the commando course. And again, I was shining in commando course. I was getting all the good observations, and when I did the confidence jump is a thing. You go on a rope on top in a pool, and you jump from there from 55 feet. So it is done like this, commando, and a shot is fired. So when that shot is fired, you must leave the rope, and you come straight down like that. So when it's a good jump. That means you left the rope on time without fear, and you came down. And you come down properly, you come down straight, you get a good observation. I got a good observation. So good observation on this, good observation and a few others. And then my speech was very, very appreciative, how I should give the orders, and I was to lead by, most important for a young officer was lead by personal example. I said, come on, we'll do it like this. So we'll do it like that. As a result, I was again running for a commando dagger
Okay.
and going first in the course. But I didn't get the dagger, somebody else got it. He's also a fine man, BC Rana. But I got an instructor's grading. The highest, gradings are instructor's grading. About 7-8 guys get this. And that grading helps you, rather directs you to come back as instructor in the commando wing. That's how after a couple of years I was instructor in commando wing. I was training the next lot. So that happened. Then reported to my battalion in 1970. Now this 69 happened 1970, the wires course. 1970, I reported to my unit in Nagaland.
Okay.
And Nagaland had stories of so much treachery by the Nagas. they had just caught some young officer someplace and skinned him alive and let his skinned dead body outside on the army gate and said, "Here we will do now. Go away from here." Trying to create a fear. And that's why we went, Northern Angami area. When I was in Lucknow, just passing through, I went my uncle was there, so he took me for a dinner someplace. And the young ladies asked me, "Where are you posted?" I said, "Nagaland." And I said it very confidently. And they raised their eyebrows, said, "Wow, he's going to the most dangerous place in the country today, is Nagaland." I said, "We are going there to solve it." And so it happened. Went to Nagaland, did some mountain warfare course in Sonamarg in between for some time. And now the time was about September, October.
Okay.
On a couple of months before, 25th March, I was in Zakama, headquarters of Nagaland's 8 Mountain Div. And 8 Mountain Div, we got information that on 25th March, there's been a huge smojal in Bangladesh. Genocide has broken out. The West Pakistani army has gone berserk and they're killing people. They're killing the Bengali. They're doing this, they're doing that, and all sorts of things. News was coming in. And what was the remark of the senior officer in whose office I was? He said, "We'll wait and watch. We'll see. Wherever fire, water is required, we will go. When it happens, let it develop." So it developed. We are well aware of the situation. As it developed, people started coming across the border. Refugees started coming from 1 to 2 to 10 million and all that. By October, our brigade, 95 Brigade, which was in Pafima, just south of Kohima, at Pafima, Brigade Commander General Clare, that time Brigadier Clare, and 3 battalions, we were asked to move to Meghalaya border.
Okay.
So we moved to Meghalaya border. While the battalion moved to Meghalaya border, I was doing a course in Sonamarg. And the day general mobilization was ordered, I think 3rd or 4th of October, our course broke off and we drove in convoy from Sonamarg to Srinagar and then Srinagar along the route up to Pathankot. Pathankot was a railhead. That time there were no trains beyond that. And all along that Samba route and all places, Indian Army was on the border. We had already, general mobilization has been ordered. So we were all very thrilled. Hey, the war is going to break out and we'll be fighting it right, as young officers. And then we reached Meghalaya. I reached Meghalaya, reported to my battalion, place called Tura. On the western side. And BSF, we were stationed in BSF posts along the border. The BSF post we had was Garavada and Mankachar and Mahendragarh and all this, along western coast of Meghalaya. So that was the situation, and then we were told, start preparing for battle, for combat. And the Indian Army, as you're aware, has to prepare every particular obstacle which is going to come by, every particular peculiar situation which is going to come by in the Bangladesh war, or that if we have to go to war. And one major issue was water. Major issue was bridges on the so many network of rivers.
Right.
The big river, the Meghna, the Padma, and the Yamuna, did not have any bridges. This side, the northern side, they all used to go by fishing boats, cross by boats. The Brahmaputra, which is Brahmaputra, there is of course much narrower. It became the Jamuna, I think, Jamuna. Or Yamuna, it became. Jamuna. It became the Jamuna there, and then later becomes the Padma, and then mouths of the Ganga ultimately in the Bay of Bengal. So we were practicing all that, crossing rivers and water crossing, and then as the things went on, we started preparing the international border for a combat. Now, when war is to break out, then there is no IB, there is no international border. There is one line is the defense line of the one force, say the Indian Army, and the other line is whoever, Pakistan Army, whoever, and the distance in between, about 15-20 kilometers, whatever it is known as no man's land.
No man's land.
The domination of no man's land is one of the tasks of the forces, whoever can dominate. Now the Pakistanis, side by side, the Mukti Bahini came up. Whole lot of Yodhas were trained by our people, and they came. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, having won the Awami League political party, he was going to be the Prime Minister of both East and West Pakistan,
Right.
which obviously was not accepted. So he said, I recollect his speech, which is there in the museum, I don't know where it is now, said, he called upon all the young boys that take up arms and liberate your nation. That's it. There is no other method. And for taking up arms, you must know how to use them. And they were trained accordingly. And they were great help to us because they knew, ikhwane Punjabi ase, ikhwane nahi. They used to call them Punjabis. And obviously, as a soldier, when we are in any of these places, we pick up the local language. And we are very quick in picking up the local language. There we knew Naga language. Here we picked up
Bingo.
tomar bari, kon jaga tomar bari. So all this.
Kon jagah. Right.
So we became friends. And then whenever we started dominating the no man's land, they said, let's lay an ambush here. We got information. A Pakistani colonel goes from this place to this place. Pakistani captain goes from here to here, or the troops go to here. We'll
Because on the
ambush it.
Bakshiganj, Kamalpur, that area.
Yeah.
Sir.
Yeah, that action.
I see.
The action was in north, thrust from the north,
Okay.
which is from Kamalpur, Bakshiganj,
Mm-hmm.
river,
Then,
Brahmaputra River, Jamalpur, south to Jamalpur, then Tangail, and then to Dhaka.
Dhaka.
That was the axis, longest 200 odd kilometers.
Very
I
longest.
advanced since. Huh?
I think the longest that any.
Longest.
Yeah.
I tell people, if in the western sector, if we go 200 kilometers inside Pakistan, we'll reach Afghanistan. Because there's some other narrow places. 200 kilometers, long distance.
Long distance.
Yeah. And more than 200 kilometers. So, coming back to the domination, we laid an ambush, we killed one SSG fellow, and then we simulated an attack on Kamalpur, and enemy mortars moved up, we destroyed the mortars. So, this kind of small actions were going on. And by 1st December, we got to know that war is going to break out. Pakistan is going to launch the preemptive attack on 3rd December. The
Okay.
preemptive airstrike like the Israelis had done in the Six-Day War and other places.
Can I ask
We
you
got
a
to know.
question,
That was
sir?
it.
Do you take part in the Chilmari raids?
Yeah. Chilmari raid I had just reached.
Okay.
I missed the Chilmari raid.
Okay. Okay.
They had just come back from the Chilmari raid. That was that raid across from Hyderabad Ghat to Phulchari Ghat. Phulchari Ghat was the Pakistani position, and Hyderabad Ghat was our side of the border. From there, forces had gone in boats, motorboats. The point is this: when there is no enemy around, where is the problem? You can go sail across.
Yeah.
And there was no enemy. We knew. How did we know? The Mukti Bahini tells us. Ikhwane Punjabi nahi, kuch nahi sahab. They are inside the posts. They don't come out. They fear the Mukti Bahini. Mukti Bahini used to sort them out in the open. Fire on them. Guerrilla warfare had broken out for them. So I had missed the Chilmari, and when I reached, I said, I will just take action. I reached in 21st or 22nd October, and on this information I got that the Pakistani chap moves from place X, I think called some place, I'll tell you. So X to Y on the perimeter road, and so we said we'll lay an ambush and sort him out. And we laid the ambush. First we went to the village side where the dog started barking, and now this is the situation. The dog started barking.
Okay.
So people got to know that some of Mukti Bahini and army people have come. Now in ambush, the definition of ambush is a surprise attack from a concealed position on an unsuspecting, moving or temporary halted enemy. Now at any stage, if surprise is lost, an enemy comes to know that their ambush has been laid, it can never be successful. And that's what happened, that the dog started barking. I said, no, let's go back. We went back 10, 15 kilometers. And people obviously will question, ki, what happened, why didn't you do ye, they, all, questions. So answer, I said, doesn't matter. We are ready for the action, we'll go again. And then we did without any recce, we went Wadabad Ghat and this position, and we went, and there were 3 hutments on the road,
Okay.
3 huts. The Mukti Bahini was sent to find out another location. So from the road, about 50 meters away, were 3 huts close to each other. A family used to live there. The fellow said कि साहब वो है, वो देखभाल करता है, and he lives there. And the place was Barmari Nunni.
Baramari.
The two
Acha, acha.
Baramari Nunni inside the thing, opposite Govintila, Karna Jhora, Mahendraganj. Opposite
Okay,
that,
got the
going
place.
southwards, was this Nunni Barmari, and yeah, and there was a ferry there.
Acha.
We had earlier planned that where the enemy gets into the ferry, we'll sort him out in the ferry. But that didn't happen. So we came back. And we came back a little away from the ferry and went to this hutments. And our Mukti Bahini told the family, you make no noise, nothing will happen to you. Just stay quiet. They said, don't worry, we are on your side. And we camped there, not camped there, we stayed there we reached there. Actually, one more thing was, I would like to bring out, that when we first went earlier, that there was bright moonlight. And moonlight, when you're walking, say about 8 o'clock when it's totally dark, and rather it's supposed should be dark, but because of the moon, there is so much of light that you get spotted in a paddy field. So there's a column going. So we were spotted by some kind of a guard which was there and all. So they were alerted. And an alert enemy, you cannot lay a proper ambush. So we got back. And this time I told my CEO, sir, I will beat the moon to it. He said, how will you do it? I said, sir, moon rises at 9 o'clock. I will leave this at last light at 6:30 and be in my position in 2 hours' time. Okay, so we reached in the dock, and then the moon came up. We were inside the hutments. And total surprise was achieved. The next morning, we were ready. The family made tea for us also.
Acha.
We had we warmed our socks, which invariably socks get wet because the rivers you keep crossing. Rivulets you keep crossing. And then we were ready to have 17 guns, 17 rifles and 3 light machine guns, and all set. And then we sent out Mukti Bahini on left and right, working in the kheti. They were our early warners. And first information comes in at about 6:30 in the morning, कि साहब patrol आता है. Now this was the morning patrol checking for mines
Okay.
or ID along the road. Then on the other side where the ferry was, we heard a noise. And there the Mukti Bahini chap reported कि गाड़ी आता है. A vehicle was trying to get across so we could hear the noise. And then from this side, we hear एक और गाड़ी आता है. And गाड़ी overtook the patrol. Now I, as a lieutenant, 22 years old, had to decide what should I do. The strength of the enemy there is of almost 30 to 40. And I'm just about 18 or so. But I have the surprise with me. Who should I fire at? Should I let the vehicles go and then fire at the patrol? Problem. Should I let this? I said to myself, and I told the patrol, my ambush party, we will fire onto the first target which comes in front of us. The first target was the open jeep coming in and came in front of me. And I fired, ta-da! Really hit the chap on the chest. And that fellow stood up and said, he abused the Mukti Bahini, abused us. And there were a couple of more bullets put him, and he was silenced. And the SSG got some 3-4 chaps were killed. We got their weapon, and some fellows were running, and we went onto the road and picked up the weapon, picked up here and there. And that's when the patrol started firing on us. This is the thing on the...
Okay.
Explain on that.
I can understand. Yeah. These are the
Yeah.
roads. Perfect.
Yeah,
sir.
there's a road. We were here, and this is where the action took place. We were in these three hutments.
Okay.
The vehicle, there's a patrol coming, and the vehicle stuck him. Then there was a vehicle this side. Then this vehicle came here, and we from these huts broke open. And well done, and we had to cross this river, Chota Sa river, about waist deep water. We crossed, then got back to the international border. I have a lovely collection of photos. Reason is that I was in the photographic club in NDA. I love photographs. I had a camera. In fact, I had told my father to buy a camera for me. I had a lovely camera. And in the war, I bought a Agfa SLA camera, which were available in the CST canteen. 16 rolls, 16 exposures. So I used to take photographs. All the frontline photographs I have taken. And so this was my operation on 5th of November. And then there was another operation, Kamalpur.
Kamalpur.
Yes, Kamalpur, Bakshiganj.
border, Right. The border.
Kamalpur,
of UP.
Bakshiganj. And these are the posts of the Pakistanis. What used to happen was, whenever our posts of the Pakistanis used to come under attack by Indian forces, the mortars to come in range used to move up from Bakshiganj like that.
3
Or they move up here.
3-inch mortars, right, sir?
We have 120 mortars.
120 mm. Okay.
120 mm mortars. They had a battery of mortars in Bakshiganj
Acha.
with the company. They used to move up to come in range and fire.
Okay.
This one we simulated an attack on Kamalpur. We shouted Chhatrapati Maharaj ki jai and all, but the other battalion did it. And they thought we are coming.
Acha.
And the mortars moved up.
Okay.
And we were two companies, Jalal Barar and all others here, laid an ambush in sugarcane fields.
Okay.
And we got to know that the reinforcements have moved up. And then they came, and because of the paddy fields, you cannot deploy mortars in the paddy fields. You have to deploy mortars on the hard standing. And the hard standing was the road, the Kacha road.
Acha.
Now they deployed the mortars on the hard road, and we had worked out where it will be the likely gun site, the mortar site. It was right in the center of our ambush. I mean, the enemy, this is the ambush, and the fellows have come and deployed, sat in front of us as if saying, come and shoot us, And there was thick clouds. I was at the northern end of the company. I was to open fire first. So my CEO asked me, General Barar, Colonel Barar that time, why aren't you opening fire? I said, I can't see anybody. I can see them. I can hear them. They are doing something. Then what they were doing was they were unloading the ammunition boxes. They were setting up the mortar position. Oh, and then RCL guns. Satish Nambiar was there, who became a Lieutenant General UN Forces Commander. He was the company commander of the other company.
Y company.
And Y Company. Y Company and mine was the Charlie Company. So, so he also spoke to the CEO and all. He said, sir, I can see some silhouette of vehicles. We can open fire. So we opened fire with a RCL gun.
Okay.
57 RCL. Oh, bloody solid. RCL, the best hit of an RCL is on a 3-ton or 1-ton vehicle, which is loaded with ammunition. Nothing like a wonderful sight. The thing went up and I photographed. And the gunner, as per rules, he's supposed to say hit.
Right.
Everybody has seen it. But he said in Marathi, Lagle sahib, matlab hit ho gaya sahab.
That's a big Diwali, I would say.
And then another one, and the whole cloud which was there, the mist which was collected, that lifted, and we saw about 100 odd guys, all these gun position chaps, and we were having a piece of cake of just killing them. So many fellows were killed. We got back, I think, about 20 odd prisoners of war.
20.
Took them along.
Okay.
20 prisoners of war, we took them back.
Acha.
I got a photo of them. I shouted at them, Hatyar utao. They lifted their weapons. And they were these Razakars. They came later.
Acha.
Hatyar utao, and we carried them with us. I'll send photos.
Wow.
So we lasted for about 2 hours. The fire exchange started. There was hardly any firing from the other side. We were just pinpointing them and shooting them down. Now this is 14 November, Nehru Singh's, Pandit Nehru's birthday.
Right.
And then, not that we went there to celebrate it, but it was a coincidence. And then we got back. We said, let's go back. So those 10, 12 prisoner of war, Razakars, we got back to a rousing welcome by our people. And we are, a peculiar thing was, we were all in civilian clothes. We are Mukti Bahini, we are guerrillas.
अच्छा,
It was a guerrilla war going on. And guerrilla war used to be in Sevi, so we got back. And the 14th, and we went in for another operation on 21st, 22nd November. That was the Mahendra Gad,
Mahendra.
you know. We went to Bhadrabad Ghat.
अच्छा अच्छा बहादुरबाद घाट. Okay.
Bhadrabad Ghat. There used to be a railway line connecting the Pulchari Ghat
अच्छा.
here. The Chilmari was different. So, and we said, we'll send naval commandos to sink the ships.
Okay.
The steamer operates here. What happens is the train comes, unloads all the luggage, the leave party and all unload, they get into a steamer, and the steamer goes zigzagging the waterway and goes to Pulchari Ghat,
अच्छा.
and then goes again to further side to the northern side of the Bangladesh, in Rangpur district. So when this was happening, discussion was going on, I interjected. I said, sir, when the train comes, let's blast the train. So the CEO said, Pony, bloody, where do you come with these ideas? Because I said, I can do it.
It's a
I've done
brilliant
commando
idea,
course.
sir. It is indeed.
So the train will come from Singh, and as it approaches here, there is a small culvert. We laid the explosives. We carried explosives. We laid 100 pounds of explosives on the track.
Okay.
Now there was another situation. This track was used by the civilians as a walking pathway
Okay.
because there was no pathway here because the embankment of all the roads and the tracks. So now, this we did not know, but in the morning when we went in, the naval commandos went in, they put the limpet mines.
Could you show it a bit like this thing? A bit up.
Limpet.
Now I can see.
The naval commandos went and put the limpet mines.
अच्छा अच्छा. On the
Limpet
ships.
mines are the one magnetic mines. They just after they leave them about 5-6 feet away, and like a magnet they get stuck to the ship.
To the ship.
And then the fuse is a soap-like ointment. As it washes with the water, the mine gets charged
Right.
and blasts. So that gives the time of the naval commandos to swim away from it. So naval commandos did this job, went on. And then our side, we had put the explosives on the culvert,
Okay.
100-pound explosive. And the peculiar thing was early morning, civilians started walking on that.
अच्छा.
Now we are in the sugarcane field close by with the Explorer dynamo to blast the thing, blast those 100 points as the train comes on top. Now the train came, chuck, 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 train came and stopped at close by here.
अच्छा.
They possibly sensed something different. They used to put 2 empty bogies in front of the engine and they tried to check up. There was another bridge here which had a protection. Now we could not get involved in a fight because we were 40 kilometers inside.
Okay.
So, and we had to get back, no dead bodies. Otherwise we'll be on the Pakistan TV. So now situation once again, कि क्या करें? What to do? There are so many. We used to call the civilian, hey, come here, and we make them sit down with us. But there were so many coming. Then we decided, let's blast the culvert. So we blasted the culvert. Again, a huge explosion, and went back to our country across the river. We crossed in fishing boats, some of the waterline, and back into Mahendragarh and Mankachar.
But unfortunately, you couldn't blow the train up, right, sir?
I could not blow the train, but it doesn't matter. There's another chance. Now this is 22nd November. And after a few days, we got to know 1st December is breaking out. And ours was this axis.
Okay, from the north.
North, Bakshiganj. Then we crossed the river, fishing boats. Brahmaputra, this small tributary, and went south to Jamalpur.
Okay.
So, yeah. that from here, one brigade from here, one brigade from here, and cross the river, and we were on this axis.
Okay.
Jamalpur, Jamalpur,
Yeah, I can make out
Bhagarpur, Pongli Bridge
Pungli Bridge.
is where the paratroopers were to be dropped,
Right, right.
and Dhaka. Okay, that was the axis.
Mm-hmm.
I was leading the advance after the Jamalpur battle from Jamalpur to Pongli. I was right in front,
Mm-hmm.
one person, and
Okay.
behind me was the whole thrust from the north. I tell people now, it's a very rare privilege that you get to lead the advance in a particular sector of the Indian Army. You're the first man who opens fire as he thinks correct. And the advance will only be stopped in case enemy fire becomes effective. Enemy fire is considered effective when you have casualties. So if I'm bullet is on my body or here and there, and I'm a casualty, that means enemy fire has become effective. We have to halt, go through the battle procedure and destroy whatever enemy opposition is there. I carried a medium machine gun,
Okay.
and I said to myself, I will bloody open fire first. My medium machine gun goes 1800 meters.
Acha.
So
Right.
I'll open fire, calling it's called prophylactic fire.
Okay.
Any suspicious places you open fire.
Mm-hmm.
And the enemy is also he's also a human being. Let's go to the next place and run, because at that time they were all running.
Mm-hmm.
So
This was
this
after
thing
Bakshiganj action.
after Jamalpur. So we'll stop here. We'll go back to them.
Okay.
So we surrounded Bakshiganj, and by that time Kamalpur had fallen. So Kamalpur, the first of the Pakistan, because we had bypassed Kamalpur from all sides. He's right on the border.
Captain Ahsan Malik, I think, Pakistani.
Yeah, he surrendered. Malik, yeah, he surrendered, and we proceeded further. Our main objective was Jamalpur. Bakshiganj and all were the forward elements of the Pakistanis. They are so-called sub-fortresses in front, local fortresses. The theatre fortresses were Jamalpur, Mamin Singh, Khulna, and all these, Jasor and all. So, we 7th or 8th December, we were on the banks of the Brahmaputra, and we started the crossing. We sent one company across in fishing boats. Each boat used to take about 15, 20 people, 30 people. And then you row it, and it goes slowly. Well, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. There's no bridge, doesn't mean you don't go across. How do Bangladeshis go across? They go across in boats, so we can also go across in boats. And that is how we planned. We sent a recce party earlier. So, 7th, 8th December, I think we crossed the Brahmaputra, all of us, 500 of us, and went and took position south of Jamalpur. Yeah. Yeah. This is Jamalpur.
Okay. You were deployed
This
behind
is the enemy position. They were deployed like this, on this side of the river.
Okay.
We crossed the river from the side
Came all
and
the way
came
to
and
here. Acha.
established here.
Acha, acha.
This is Y company, this is Charlie company. I was with Charlie company.
Acha.
Y company, this side of the road. This is Alpha company. And battalion headquarters, Colonel Brar here.
Okay.
And there is Delta company.
Acha, acha.
The brigade commander was here. He was in the front line. It was by chance, coincidence.
Yeah.
He came in helicopter, he couldn't go back.
I think a Subedar was shot in front of him.
Yeah, one Subedar and More, I think, and 7, 10 others. Not very many. Not very casual. So Jabalpur battle, this was how the deployment was. And here we tried a Psy-war trick with them. We sent a note
Acha.
and told them that dear Commander Jamalpur Fortress, your whole force has been surrounded. You have been surrounded by one brigade, another brigade is here. We have 31 sorties of air available. We have this much of artillery and all those things. In the interest of troops, you surrender. We promise you all things as per Geneva Conventions. So, they sent back the note by evening. Reply, Dear Brigadier, we have been waiting for the Battle of Jamalpur to start. He was Colonel Sultan Ahmed Sitare Jorat, a brave officer. I met him later. We met him later in Dhaka. So he said, let us wait. Let us get on with it. We are waiting for the Battle of Jamalpur to start. Let us not waste time and get on with it. And few other things that I hope the Mukti enjoyed his cup of tea with us. A Mukti Bahini guy, Munshi was a brave chap.
Right.
He was sent there inside and he came. And I saw the envelope when I was in the position. I said, sure, dikao, mujhko dikao. So I saw it. It had a bullet inside.
So
The envelope it had a bullet. So I wanted to open it as a young officer. Called type, what is written? Said, no, it's addressed to the CEO. So let it go. That same evening, we were to launch an attack.
Acha.
All preparations were made to launch an attack for capture of Jamalpur. I was the first platoon commander and one more Rajendra Dafle. Two platoons were to establish foothold on the forward bunkers because Northern Eastern Command was pressing us that hurry up, your force is lagging behind. The thrust from the north is lagging behind. Now this was 10th December. 10th December night we were to attack. Then by evening enemy started shelling our positions.
Okay.
What had happened? Just not many people know that that the thrust from the east, from Jasor from the west, and from Four Corps coming in from Khulna side, and what is that?
2 Corps was from Khulna, 4 Corps was from...
No, Jasor.
From Khulna, just.
2 Corps from Jasor and Comilla. Sorry, not
4
Comilla.
Corps from...
Comilla was 4 Corps. 4 Corps and 2 Corps. They were closing in.
Right.
Of course, they had huge river obstacles to cross. But they were saying that Dhaka has to be captured soonest, before the 7th Fleet or before
The Americans
international interference. That time we had to worry about international interference. And, okay, so northern thrust. But enemy started registering our position in the artillery shelling. Smoke bombs and all keep very the end. They didn't know. After they got this letter, they did not know what was our strength. They thought we were bluffing. We were just about company strength and some fellows and we were bluffing. They sent some patrol but they could not reach us. Our guns were here with this battalion. All 24 guns were here. The bomb used to come from here and land on enemy.
Okay.
Now normally the artillery is at the back.
Acha.
And it's sent forward and for attacking groups. The bombs are supposed to go over like this, but they're landing from the front. Like in today's battle where the western sector, the bombs are going over into Pakistan side.
Right.
Here they were opposite direction. However, since we couldn't get the guns across the river, there was a problem. There was a situation, I must tell you. 100 bullock carts were there. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. 100 bullock carts were loaded with ammunition, guns and mortars and all that. And we started moving cross country.
Okay.
We moved cross country. No roads. We had to walk. 40 kilometers, 50 kilometers up to Dhaka. We did that in first 48 hours. Gradually first at Bakshiganj, then the river and then crossing across. When we reached the Brahmaputra, the bullocks and the buffaloes who were towing the bullock carts, the situation used to be like this. When a small rivulet comes, the bullock cart is unloaded. All the stores are put in the boat. And the stores are taken by boat across the river. The bullocks swim.
Okay.
The carts floats. And they go across. So when they reached the Brahmaputra, they could not, the bullocks and the bullock cart, the bullocks and the buffaloes, they could not see the other end of the river. They said it is too bloody huge and the current is too much.
Right.
They'll be swept away. So the bullocks and they won't get into the water. And 2-3 water and they were swept away. My CEO Bulbul Broad said, Panwar, do something. I am twisting the tail of the bloody buffalo to get into the water.
But it's not happening.
And he's not going. As if he's telling me, Baba, I'll get swept away. This is not the way, it can't be done. So a decision was taken. Now what do? You can't just say कि नहीं हो रहा. Decision was taken. The artillery guns will be deployed across the river here, and the FO, the controlling officers of this artillery, will be across with us.
Okay.
They'll say, towards the place, towards the fire. They'll fire. So they've deployed here 24 guns.
Acha.
And so coming back to the battle, then in the evening we got to know that Pakistanis are shelling our places, and we got to know the Pakistan over radio set interception that the Pakistani forces from Jamalpur want to break out.
Okay.
They have been ordered to go to Dhaka for protection of Dhaka. For regular troops are not there in Dhaka, and this was the only force available along the northern thrust straight to Dhaka. Road was open. Paratroopers had not dropped, so they were called, and if they had to go, they had to break our roadblock. They came in the night, 2300 hours, 11 o'clock.
This was the Jamalpur Tangail road, right, sir?
Yeah.
Connecting
So,
Tangail.
So this is about a kilometer from a distance. Front line of there and front line of ours. We could see them. They came in the night.
Okay.
All our OPs were out, and we passed the message, sir, enemy troops are coming. They didn't know where we were, so there was not an attack. They were bumming along the road. When they reached from here to here, they reached Charlie Company, Delta Company, along the road. We are about 100 meters away from the road.
Okay.
They can't see us. Now we are on a place. This is an elevated road. All Bangladesh the roads are elevated because of the water. During the monsoon, the whole Bangladesh becomes a sea.
Right.
And you only see the road. So they were on the slope on the road. They came along. And when they reached here, chap on the road, or one section which is on the road, challenge him, thumb, kaun aata, you know that peculiar challenge we have. So he said, hum Charlie Company wale hai. And before he could say Jack Robinson, they started their bayonet attack and killed our Rane, Kahullar Rane,
Okay.
and few others at the post. And the firing started. MMG fire by Krishna Gurav. Now, the brigade commander was here, Delta Company, Claire, which is education officer. That evening, he had come to finalize the attack plans.
Okay.
Enemy started shelling. The helicopter pilot said, sir, I must go back, I'll get shot up here. Helicopter went back. He said, ठीक है, कल आऊंगा मैं.
Okay.
So, by coincidence and by his bravery thing, that he said, I'll stay back here for the night. Now, by saying that, it was an MVC action, you know, that is a brave action in the front line. Brigade commander right in the front bullet. Anyway, so he was here. And that's where Krishna Guru started the close range MMG fire, and the whole battalion stuck up, fired up. Enemy used to run from here to here, and they used to get fired upon. They used to run from here to here, they got fired upon. They used to take position on the road, foolishly. Now here is the road, there is a slope. They should take position. If they're taking on this side to fire on Y Company, they take position.
Yeah.
Then they should put a rifle here, okay, and fire. When they should do that, the bullets used to go over because we are on lower levels.
Yeah.
We are at lower place, and their backsides are towards us. And wherever they used to get shot up because we are firing on the spark.
Right. You can hit
Spark
their
of the
heads
Pakistan.
easily.
Yeah, and then a vehicle column started coming from here, trying to escape. That was the CO's vehicle column,
Okay.
trying to break through.
Sultan Ahmed.
And then there is a company here, Protective Patrol. Lieutenant Duffley was here,
Okay.
and he passed the message, sir, vehicle column is coming. There's a shot off. Again, RCL gun, 57 RCL, you carry on your shoulder. At close range, we shot the first one and the second one. Before that, Lieutenant Duffley and others asked, who's got illuminating round? Mortar illuminating round, 2-inch mortars.
Okay.
I said, yeah, I've got. And I fired illuminating round. And illuminating round is one of the methods of battlefield illumination.
Right.
So battlefield was illuminated. When they illuminated, we could see all of them and fire. Sorted them out. 231 dead bodies next morning. अल्लाह अल्लाह करके पहुंच गए, पता नहीं जन्नत गए कि जहन्नुम गए, किधर गए, but they went. So then the vehicle column came, and vehicle column was shot up by Rajendra Duffley, and the second vehicle and the third vehicle, and that was silhouetted. The whole battlefield was silhouetted against the burning of these vehicles. And Rajendra Duffley, in the sense of humor, he said, "I've got my own illuminating now. Everything is fine." And this carried on for about 4.5 hours. At 4 o'clock in the morning, a chap from this side started shouting, Pakistani, "Stop! Stop!" Oh, correct! I got a loud voice, as you would have seen. So I shouted back. My company wanted to say, "Hey, why are you talking to him?" I said, he said, "I think sir, वो डर गया." So he said, "साहब, कर्नल साहब से मिलना है." So कहे नहीं, मेरे पास आओ, इधर आओ. ये टॉर्च है, इधर आओ. So I'm in a trench, in a kheti, in a little elevated ground. मत बुलाओ. Other chap was saying, "Grenade फेंकेगा." I said, "But ठीक है, हम मरेगा, देखी जाएगी, आने दो." So he came. I said, "हथियार नीचे रखो." Then he got our torches out and he focused on him.
Okay.
I will not somebody. He came to my trench. अरे बताइए साहब, बहुत जवान हमारे शहीद हो गए हैं, ये है, हमको कर्नल साहब से मिलना है, नहीं लड़ना है. हमने अब स्टैंड अप, खड़े हो जाओ, जोर से बोलो अपने लोगों को, फायर बंद करें, अपने बोलो को आ जाओ इधर, हथियार ऊपर करो, यहाँ आते जाओ. And he shouted at them, इधर आ जाओ भैया, इधर आ जाओ, in their language. And then I sent a message on radio to my company commander, who was just next door actually. I said, "Tell the CO to order the battalion to cease fire. The enemy is surrendering." I'm known as Pony, my pet name from Panwar. So other company commander is saying, "Buddy, what's wrong with this bloody Pony Panwar?" He's saying, "Tell the CO to cease fire." There's a war going on. Normally things of a lieutenant are not accepted.
Right.
And they used to always check people that, "Bloody, you're a lieutenant, keep your mouth shut." I've got a reason. I will tell you something. So, enemy, we cease fire. And when you cease fire, when the enemy puts his weapons down, the war is over. As far as that battle is concerned, Jamalpur battle got over, and gradually the mist lifted. This was 4:30. By 5 o'clock, you know better, it gets daylight early there. And the day broke, and there was about 61 odd prisoners. And there on the battlefield, when he came out of Allah, Allah and all, they were lying, so many of them. 231 dead bodies captured, and thereafter Jamalpur garrison started sending messages on radio. "This is Jamalpur calling, stop your shelling," in Jamalpur. Jamalpur town was also reduced to ashes. All their vehicles that were lined up were all blasted.
Okay. From the shelling.
Initially from this side. And then day broke, helicopters started coming in. I tell people when all small arms fire was eliminated, then the brigadiers and generals arrived to see how the battle was. General Nagra came from headquarters in Meghalaya, from Tura, and some others, and press people, a lot of press people, foreign press. They came, and then we went into Jamalpur town and so-called took the surrender. 400 odd guys surrendered. And then we had a break. They were kept in one place. We left the other forces coming in to look after the prisoners of war, and we got ready for the advance next day. This was 11 December. 11 December morning. 10 December the attack took place. 11 December morning all this happened. And the 11 December the road to Tangail was clear. And paratroopers, it was decided that the 2 paras will be dropped. And 2 paras prepared themselves. They were in Calcutta. And they were dropped at 4:30 in the evening at Pongli Bridge. They captured Pongli Bridge. So 11 December evening, paratroopers are at the Tangail, Pongli Bridge.
Right.
Then came So paratroopers are here, and we are at Jamalpur, and we were told as young officers to go and bring vehicles, go and unload the Pakistani luggage, whichever vehicle is available, and we learned the quick trick of how to take out the wire and join it,
Right.
start the vehicle. We knew all that. We didn't require keys and all. And we got the vehicles, so a whole lot of vehicles were lined up. And I went in to the fireplace,
Okay.
the Pakistan Fire Service. And there was a fire engine there,
Acha.
East Pakistan Fire Service. A lovely from some European country. And you switch it on and go dun 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 dun. I got that out and connected it, and I put my troops in the vehicle, and we came from there to the roadblock site. While everybody is making, conversation and getting ready, fire engine is coming along the road. The one. So, what a bloody scene! Dun, 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 dun. Arey, what is this? He says, sir, Panwar has collected some vehicles. 40 advance in the morning. And I joined them for the food. This was about 2 o'clock. And they said, what are you doing? I said, for advance tomorrow.
That would have been a lot
Late
of fun.
advance.
Lot of fun.
And when you're a second lieutenant, your age 22, you're a young officer, and you're doing everything so right and so this thing with full of Josh. Everyone says, yeah, that's correct. It's for the advance. And we collected the vehicles. Next morning, we got going. And I was detailed by the CO. The Lieutenant Panwar will lead the advance. I said, okay, sir. I'll let the advance. And advance. And I was also the link-up officer to link up with the paratroopers. Yeah. This was those at Bakshiganj you surrendered. And getting back. And this is all the loot we got.
Okay.
And Claire and all the officers are there at Bakshiganj. Then final briefing by General Gill.
And
3rd December.
This was before the attack, right? Because he was.
Yeah, 3rd December. And final briefing, 3rd December. We crossed the international border at 3rd December.
Right.
3rd, 4th December. Then here are the bullock carts. These are the mortars, to 120 mortars. These are Bakshiganj defences.
Okay.
But the enemy withdrew. The enemy failed to fight. They said we will fight in the main exit Jabalpur. Here I am in one of these places.
I've seen this picture.
That's me.
Okay.
So we took pictures, but no enemy.
No enemy.
The enemy got destroyed. There's a company commander, Major Ayub. He got killed in a firefight and artillery fire. So Bakshiganj, we are all in Bakshiganj. This is Claire, this is Nagra. That's me on the knee, on the kneeling position. Second lieutenants get kneeling position. They don't get place to stand in the back.
There is Captain Balbir also.
Yeah, we decided Balbir.
He was.
Yeah.
He was killed in
Education officer. And this is the first Maratha moving along to Jamalpur. Yeah. And next morning, Jamalpur battle, there is in front of Delta Company. Where is Delta Company wale? Dead bodies, Pakistan dead bodies.
Okay.
The Mukti Bahini chap, Mulshi,
Munshi.
he tells me, साहब हमारा फोटो ले हो, हम पंजाबी के सिर के ऊपर पाँव रखेगा. So he put his foot on the head of the Pakistani, and I took his photograph. Next morning, there is a burnt out vehicles at Jamalpur, inside Jamalpur, and there Nagra arriving. That's me. By then, I had got a para jacket, a Pakistani officer's para jacket. I took it away from him.
Okay.
And then this is Jamalpur town. We went sightseeing, collecting vehicles. And here we are at the Jamalpur
I
station.
have seen this picture. Yeah. This is Major
Yes, me.
Namgir, Satish Namgir.
There's Duffley, there's Pimpley, they're all dead. God bless them. Sawant kid. I'm the only one hanging on. And this is in the vehicles in the town. And this is the river. We made up little ferries come across.
Okay.
There was no bridge. There's no bridge from there to go. Now here's the fire engine.
Oh. Okay. This picture I haven't seen, but yeah.
There's a fire engine. So and then they blew up the bridges while retreating
Right.
to us. And one more point was that the CEO, Sultan Ahmed, and what 100 odd guys, they bypassed the Jamalpur, this fight which was going on. You know, they went in from here, the enemy, they bypassed and between, and along this track, they went to Dhaka. They missed the battle, the 100 odd guys. They said, nahi ho sakta hai. So
This
that's how it happened. And so Jabalpur town, there's a fire engine. And then here were retreating Pakistanis.
right.
I'm in a vehicle. I've got a medium machine gun. I'm doing that prophylactic fire. Suddenly the civilian vehicles that come, public carriers, Sardarji was the driver.
Okay.
I'm sitting in the co-driver's seat. My troops are, platoon is on the body. And we saw them Pakistanis. Hey, sir, Pakistani. अरे ठीक है यार, Pakistani है. What will they do? Let's get closer. We got closer about 300 meters and quickly deployed. And I let go a burst of MMG, which is about 20 rounds. And fired, and those fellows were carrying white handkerchiefs, and they put out white handkerchiefs from the side of the tree box, you know. And he came, and I shouted at them, "Hey, Daddy, hathiyar uthao, rifle uthao." The rifle uthaya. Now this photograph appears in whole lot of places because this is a surrender with rifles up.
Yeah.
Rest of the surrenders they're bending down.
I can
putting
clearly
them-
make out the G3 rifles, the Pakistani
Ah,
rifles.
there's Gitira.
Right.
And then there are the prisoners. And after the prisoners, what do we do with them? Another situation. I'm leading the advance in a big vehicle.
Right.
What do I do? I said, "Tum bhi baith jao gaadi mein." They also sat with me.
Went to Tangil.
I'll take you along. I said, "Where will I leave the prisoners?
Right.
I can't leave them."
Yeah.
Oh, sir, साथ ले चलते हैं. Let's not waste time. And then I meet Mukti Bahini fires on me. By then the small vehicles had come, MMG mounted.
That's
We were on a
Qadir
story, I'll just tell you.
Siddiqui, right, sir?
Huh?
That's Qadir Siddiqui.
Qadir Siddiq.
Right.
So MMG Mukti Bahini fired on me,
Acha, acha, acha.
thinking that we are Pakistanis.
Okay.
But then we exchanged and told them, no, we are this, that. And then they said, "Saab, हमारे general साहब से मिलो. Don't go in vehicle." I walked across.
Okay.
And there's Qadir Siddiqui standing in the center of the road, looking very dominating and full of confidence. I asked him, "दुश्मन किधर है?" So he said, "दुश्मन किधर है? दुश्मन भाग रहा है. पूरा टंगेल खाली हो गया. No enemy." अरे वाह! I shook hands. What a brave reply by Tiger Siddiqui
Right.
to a second lieutenant's question कि दुश्मन किधर है? So hello there, and like all times and any events, I said, let's take a photograph first. Then these vehicles are like MMG mounted vehicles. So MMG guys sat on my seat, the co-driver's seat, the driver in the driver's seat, in the open vehicle, and I was leading the advance, and I asked that MMG chap who had come from higher headquarters, कि हम किधर बैठेगा? So he tells me, आप पीछे बैठ जाओ साहब. I said, shut up. I am leading the advance. I will sit in the front on the bonnet of the vehicle. I sat on the bonnet. There was a Major Gagoi who loitering around here
Sure.
some years ago, who used to make people sit on the bonnet. he wasn't there that time. I sat on the bonnet and went waving for the paratroopers. And then the bridge came by, and this is all clear and
Clear and I think
Pillai.
right.
There's Pannu,
Pannu.
uh,
That is Brigadier
Sagat Singh, something,
I guess.
Brigadier Clare here. They're on the bridge. And then Nambiar, they're all on the Pongli bridge. Tangel. And then next brigade took we were given 48 hours break.
Okay.
167 brigade came and the Sikhalai, Che Sikhalai. Sonia Sasrigal, they resumed advance from Tangel towards Dhaka. Then we entered Dhaka on 16 December afternoon to a rousing welcome. And
Wow. This is
we reached Dhaka. Again, all those who could drive, we carried out, I was going. And then we were in the golf course.
okay.
While the surrender was going on, we were in the golf course waiting for orders. all the senior officers and colonels checked into this Intercontinental Hotel. So we were all lieutenants and majors. So we asked where to take the battalion, the Claire said, you go to President's house. Just said, bloody, just go to President's house. So we went to President's house. Yahya Khan's Eastern President. And there it was, President's house was locked. I broke open the door. And Nambiar and all said, hey, what are you doing? I said, sir, what are you doing?
This photograph, right, sir?
And then we sat on the President's table. I was sitting here earlier. Then Nambiar said, that's the priority of the senior officer present.
Right.
So he sat here and I'm sitting here. There's Pimple, Kulkarni, Duffley, two air chaps.
Wow.
So we sat here and he sent two officers to get food, dinner.
Acha.
Though we had our shakarparas and all, but we sent for dinner and they went to the Intercontinental. They said there are some people in the President's house, provide food for 12 or 14 people, whatever. They said, bloody hell, Yahya Khan's Eastern Resident, तो खुदा ही होगा यार और इसके ऊपर तो हो नहीं सकता कोई. Bloody vehicle came, catering vehicle with waiters and all and serving us at the President's house. I said, wow, and we in our dirty clothes, 15 days not had a wash.
No wash and nothing. VIP treatment in Dhaka.
Out of sheer respect for the President's house in the bedroom, I slept on the carpet down below. I didn't sleep on the bed. And next morning we had the rest of the battalion fetched up. 18 December, Field Marshal came. There is Sakat Singh in Nagra. 18 December, Field Marshal came and addressed us. He said, हम तुमसे बहुत खुश हैं. खुश इसलिए नहीं क्योंकि तुम लड़ाई जीता. खुश इसलिए कि तुम यहाँ की औरतों को, बच्चों को, किसी को तंग नहीं किया. And then we went around sightseeing. There's the craters created in Dhaka airfield, so the aircraft could not take off. Then we dispatched prisoners of war, 93,000. Prisoner of war, the Penny Tweedy Sunday Times. I was taking her around and showing her places. There's the Intercontinental Hotel.
Right.
Yeah. Then I was asked to disarm the governor of East Pakistan, Mr. Malik, and his cabinet from the Intercontinental and bring them to the cantonment for safe custody. So governor, his wife, Austrian wife, and his daughter Geeti was working in Netherlands.
Okay.
Netherlands girl could not go back. She was about 30 years old because of the airfield having all gone and the war breaking out. So here is Mr. Malik. He's to be there. That's me. And this photograph is there in Calcutta Museum of, and then some of the boats, some burnt out saber jets with the Pakistani did. Then one of the Pakistani officers showing me around Dhaka. And then on that day, I think 12th January or so, we're waiting for Sheikh Mujib Rahman to arrive at the airport. Once again, I told the CEO officer, I will go inside to take photographs. And the press people are there and all. And that's me. By then, a cotton vest had arrived. We were all in red pom-pom and looking like an officer should look, rather than the battle tone uniforms, and waiting. So one of the press guys, and we were told, don't talk to the press, and all those things. And one of the British guys, one of them, he said, look, Captain, are you, by then I got promoted as a captain. But Captain, are you responsible for security in this region? I said, not fully, but yes, I am responsible for the security. He said, but I don't see any troops. I don't see any troops around. I said, that's a typical Indian tactics. We are there. At the moment of a given signal, they'll all be here and will save and whatever. So he said, who's going to give the signal? Captain, are you going to give the signal? I said, I can't tell you everything. Funny. And there's the Air Force Comet. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman arrives. Air Force, Indian, British Air Force, British Airways.
He was
British
coming
Air
from
Force.
London at that time.
London,
Right.
yeah. And here he is, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman driving in
On the truck, yeah.
the truck. And well, then Dhaka, we were there, we did some parades. We stayed in Dhaka for, I think, 2 months. We went to Mymensingh then.
Okay.
In between, I was given a task to carry one Izaz Ahmed, Colonel Izaz Ahmed, Colonel Intelligence, and a couple of JCOs from Dhaka to Calcutta,
Okay.
and from Calcutta to Delhi. To Delhi. I was escorting them.
Okay.
I took a chap with me in medium machine gun. I was carrying not medium, apna Sten gun and a pistol I was carrying, armed. So Colonel Sultan, Colonel Izaz Ahmed, he was the Colonel Intelligence. We got into a Dakota aircraft at Dhaka. By then flights had started. Half the prisoners and half the civilians moving, officials moving.
Okay.
The air hostesses were there, Bengali air hostesses, looking most concerned. So while before the aircraft were going to take off, I told them I'll just give the briefing to these 8 guys of the Pakistanis. And I told them in Hindi, अभी थोड़ी देर में हवाई जहाज उड़ेगा, आपको अपनी सीट पे बैठे रहना है. मेरा ये सिपाही तैयार है, he is ready, and he will not give any warning. Moment you get up, he'll shoot. He'll knock you down. There is no warning, कि बैठो ये करो, nothing of that. And then I looked at the air hostess. I said, Madam, Missy, if I fire while the aircraft is in progress, any problems? She ran. She really ran to the pilot. He said, what is wrong with that laughter? He said, la, 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 la. Sorry. Pilot came running to me. He said, no, you should not fire, open fire. I said, why? Then I took him aside. I said, this is just a cyber. I will not open fire. Just to go डरा दिया सारा को उठेगा नहीं. We can create problems en route. So, 55 minutes we were in Calcutta and I handed over that fellow, and that's it. That's the time. The 4 days were waiting for reservations to go by a direct train from Calcutta to Delhi. So I stayed in Fort William. And then I asked my officer, I said, what do I do? He said, go to Park Street and you'll find everything. Go to Grand Hotel. We went to Grand Hotel in the evening while dance and striptease or whatever goes on in that time, and had a beer for 10 rupees. You pay 10 rupees, you get a beer. I sat. They're all in uniform. I'm wearing my combat uniform. And everybody is crowding around me and asking me questions. You're coming from Dhaka, you're coming from Dhaka, you know. So I was quite amused with the whole stories. Then I saw whole of Fort William and Calcutta and the race course. And I said to myself, I must get posted here. It's a lovely place. And that's how, after a couple of years, I was posted at G1 Ops in 1986, 87. When was it? 87, 88. And then I went to Command a Battalion.
Okay.
And I went to Command a Battalion of Faizabad. I went to Rumlidara, J&K. The battalion moved to J&K. I was commanding the battalion. Then I was detailed in High Command course. I came to Mau to do the High Command for a year. And after that, I went to Leh as Colonel GS.
Okay.
And from there, I got posted to Delhi in the Chief of Army Staff Secretariat for a year, and to Udaipur, Brigade Commander of Udaipur. Jaisalmer was with us. I used to drive in Jaisalmer and all the operations there, but nothing, peacetime. And from there, sent off to Tripura. I was sent for a specific task to Tripura, and in Tripura, the problem was insurgency. I was 21 sector commander. There were a number of insurgents, ATTF and NLFT, National Liberation Front of Tripura, and all Tripura Tigers Force. These are the two underground groups. I met their leader, the person who has surrendered, Devrata Kolai.
Okay. And these
They were
were sponsored by Pakistani ISI and both Bangladesh.
Yeah, they were living in Bangladesh and this side and sponsored.
Okay.
So they were there. They were inside Bangladesh for training. And in one of the instances, from those hill tracks, what are that
Chittagong
Chittagong hill tracks.
Right.
Chittagong hill tracks. As I reached Tripura, within about 5-6 days, on 7th 8th of March, a strong column of the Nagas, having got trained, about 100 of them, coming in from Chittagong hill tracks, entered Bangladesh, entered Tripura from there. And our intelligence was good. We laid the ambush. There was a young officer who laid the ambush and sorted out the Nagas. There were about 11 odd killed, all weapons recovered, dead bodies recovered, and a whole lot of them ran away in different directions. And I reached the town where, the village, I'll just tell you. And we reached there and carried out the operation, search and destroy operations for about next 10 days. And then the helicopters came. I told the headquarters in Dimapur, 3 Corps headquarters, that send helicopters mounted with MMGs.
Okay.
We will do firing on the jungle where the chaps are running back towards Chittagong hill tracks. So we went and I fired. No, they were not giving me these weapons. They said, you will kill the wrong people. And then ultimately they said, who's going to fire? I said, me, brigade commander. Oh, you will be firing? I said, yes, I'm qualified. I'm instructor qualified in MMG firing in the school. So they said, commander is firing, let them go. So it came. And that pilot of that helicopter also became famous because he did this operation of firing from helicopters. Otherwise, only bloody Amitabh Bachchan and Danny Denzagupta fire from helicopters.
Right.
So I fired. And that pilot is general now here in Mau.
Okay.
He's a major general. That time he was a lieutenant or something. So we met him and said, sir, we are old warriors of this, that and the other. Oh, the hot news went in across the state that there is somebody who's come with a bloody firebrand, he doesn't, it was a good approach, good entry into Tripura. Then I told Devrata Koloy, said, why are you fighting? Why the rest of your fellows who have not surrendered, why don't they surrender? We'll have independent Tripura. I told him that it's futile. You cannot defeat the Indian army. The 41 years Nagas took 1957 to 1997, 87. After that they have surrendered. And same 20 years in Mizoram and 20 years here and Tripura, you surrender. I'd say you make a political party. You fight the elections. So they made Indigenous People Front of Tripura, INPT, Indigenous National Front of Tripura, INFT, whatever. So by then the new government came and gradually the Tripura has become a peaceful place. All of them have surrendered. They've come, better now being close by there.
They've
Political
chosen
parties
a
like
different way of life.
Yeah, they've chosen a different way of life. And they're living a very peaceful life. They're quite happy. And from there I came here to War College as DS for 2 years. And then the commandant of CIJ Double School, Varangte, was filling vacant
Okay.
at Varangte. And I was selected by the Chief of Army Staff, General JJ. He was the on-track commander. He sent Panwar. And then the problem of left-wing extremism started. Chhattisgarh became Chhattisgarh in 2000. 2003-4, the government realized that there is a 12,000 to 15,000 square kilometers of territory where the writ of the government of India does not rule. I got a call from General Seth. Panwar, I'm sending some police people. Will you be able to train them? I said, yes, sir. I knew him from Tripura. He was the governor in Tripura, so he knew me. And they came, they trained. Then after a while, some more. I said, sir, this 50, 60 won't do. You have to have plenty of them. Then he checked up. He said, what are you doing after? They got to know the 31st March I'll be finishing with the army in 2005. I said, okay, I've applied for United Nations. I'd like to go to Congo. I like the jungles. My uncle was lost in Congo. He died in Congo. Just out of sheer this thing. Let's have some more adventure while he's going is good. So he said, you come here. You come and recce this place. This place is also like Congo only. It's Bastar jungles. And I got in touch with them. And to cut a long story short, they said, join us. Come in. We'll make you this. We'll give you this. We'll give you that. We'll give you 35% extra pay and all those things. 31st March, I finished with the army. 1st April, I was in Chhattisgarh. Next day, I said, give me a JCB, give me some tippers, and I started my next chapter to train the police forces of all the LWE states. And there it is. With this training given to the police forces, including from West Bengal, in fact, it all started from North Bengal, from
Right.
Naxalbari,
Naxalbari.
Amarabari, Tumarabari, Naxalbari. So, Charu Mazumdar and gang.
Right.
Uh, he was arrested. Coincident. I was doing IS duties after the war
Acha, acha.
in Calcutta, around Calcutta, and he was arrested in Lal Bazar police station
Okay.
while we were there. And that's where he died, unknown destination, after about 10 days. So that was my contact with Charu Mazumdar. Of course, I never saw him, but we heard while we were planning that he's been arrested. That's how. And what IS duties we did was against Maoists. We killed 3 of them. They fired on our vehicle and we shot back. We were very loose on the trigger those days. Just back from the war. So that started the. And I said to myself, I told the police and I told the chief minister, I said, nobody will tell me what to do. I will have no overshadow, it's called an intelligence officer, the investigating officer, what's it called? IO, you know?
Ayo.
The reviewing officer, the inspecting officer. I said, no one. There will be nobody to tell me what to do. I know what to do. That is why you have called me. I will go about it. Your boat is sinking. I will put the right place how to go about it. So with this JCB and tippers, we created firing ranges and all, and the process started. Few things I told the police. I said, once you enter the gate, you will only go out as a soldier, as a warrior. Otherwise, you're not going. Like in a furnace, the red iron is put inside and hammered into shape. You will go through. If you can't reach 40 kilometers in this much time, you do it again. You do it again. Because the human body is capable of undergoing tremendous stress and strain. It is often not realized till it is put to test. Your human body will be tested here. You yourself will realize how tough you are. परमात्मा ने जो शरीर बनाया उसमें बेहद ताकत है. इसका पता नहीं लगता जब तक मैं तुमको तजर्बा दूंगा. And I used to get up every morning at 4 o'clock or 4:30, depending on the time of the year, and be there on parade in the morning with motivation. And as Naxalites started striking in Jharkhand and Orissa, they were sending the police to our place, and then they replicated our college in places. And that's how the overall effort of 231 districts has come down to just a couple of them. And every day, Naxalites are surrendering in Chhattisgarh. So many have got killed. Their leader, Baswaraj, has got killed. Mupala Lakshman Rao is run away to the Philippines. Long time back, he said, I can't do it. And I tell people, जब दुश्मन का सेनापति भाग जाएगा तो सेना क्या करेगी? And Naxalism, as per the Honorable Home Minister's plan of March 2026, it will be completed. There will be no problem.
That's a very
And
long lingering problem we have been dealing with a long
Yeah. So that gets over, and 18 years gone by. I left that place about a year and a half back, and this is what I'm doing off and on.
In many places I was like, I had a lot of fun, sir, talking to you. Many places. Yeah, the way you, I mean, spoke up about the internal things of a soldier. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. It was generally fun. Like,
I have not lectured or spoken so long to anybody in my life on a subject relating to myself
Okay.
and relating to my experience. It's a soldier's experience. It's just that I tell people you're born at the right time at the right place, where you are tuned to going towards adventure activity, and you join the service. Oh, you join. Had I been born later, 2 years later, I would have missed the war.
Yeah.
Had I been born 10 years earlier, I would have been a senior man in the war, maybe major or something, or I would have missed the war then.
Yeah.
Here was the right time. I was born, 22 years in the front line, and did not get hit by bullets. Saved.
See.
I could have been shot.
Mhm.
My legs could have been blown off.
Mhm.
I could have been killed. I did the killing. I shoot first. If you have to shoot, shoot. Don't talk.
And it's a lot of fun. I would say. Like, yeah. I mean, nobody would. I mean, I have taken interviews of many veterans. To them, it was like a job. But sir, talking to you, it's like thrill. It's fun.
See, many veterans have not been in the right places. And many veterans who've been in the right places have not performed rightly.
Yeah.
They have let it go.
Right.
It's a very amusing thing. They're shouting across the battlefield, hey, chala, idhar aao. You know. Now, nobody else who said idhar aao or something. The Panwar said it.
Mhm.
And वो आ गया. लड़ाई खत्म हो गई.
Right, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. And thank you
Okay,
again
bye-bye.
for your services. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Bye bye.